Seahawks rookies report to training camp a week from Friday, which is hard to believe. The veterans report 2 weeks from Friday on July 24th. Walter Jones spent 12 seasons with the Hawks on his way to becoming a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Let's welcome in Big Walt, the co-host of the fifth quarter on Sunday nights, right after Sunday Night Football on King 5. Walt, it is great to have you with us today.
Thanks a lot, guys. It's an honor to be here with you guys, man, to sit here and talk to you guys getting ready for the football season.
All right, listen, before we get talking about any kind of football or anything else, we talked to you a little bit off the air about the fishing trip you recently took with some teammates, former teammates. Tell us a little bit about how that went.
It went good. It was something that we've been trying to plan for the last couple of years. So for me personally, I wanted to do it. So we kind of all got together, went out to Florida, out there in Destin area, got on the water and stuff, went fishing. And the only thing that happened, I got sick. I've been on the boat a couple of times, but got sick there, and I kind of had my issues off the edge of the boat, and then all of a sudden they were saying, maybe if you get any sicker, we might have to put you in the water, but they don't realize that towback was just wrestling a shark for like 30 minutes. So I'm like, no, I'm not getting in there. I said, we're gonna have to clean this boat. We're gonna have to clean this boat when we get back to the bank. So that was good though. We had a great time though. Just to get with those guys, every time you get together, all you talk about is what we did on the football field and stuff like that. But it's still cool just to get with those guys and reminisce.
Hey, Big Walt, to your defense, I've been fishing since I was 1, and it happens to the best of us. I just fished in Westport a week ago, and I got sick, so it happens. A little motion out there in the ocean, it happens. We get sick, but we move on and we catch a fish and live to see another day.
Exactly. It's good eating too, though. We caught enough that we was able to take the fish, and they cut it up right there off the dock there, and then we was able to take it to a local restaurant, and they fried it and blackened it right there in front of us. So that's totally some good eating to be with those guys and have a good time.
Hey,
fun stuff.
Would you do it again? Would you go out fishing again, knowing the sickness?
No. No. I told them I'm more off the bank guy. I don't too much care for the deep sea fishing where it's constantly the boat is moving and everything like that. So it's pretty tough.
Yeah, man, I don't blame you. You two guys are brave. I know my limits, and I'm not going out on a boat for sure. All right, well, let's talk some training camp. When you were a rookie back in 1997, the Seahawks held camp in Kirkland. Mike Holmgren came in a couple of years later and moved the camp to Eastern Washington University in Cheney. What do you remember about training camp in Cheney?
It was hot. It was cool, though. I think for me personally, just to be around the guys, I think I appreciated those. I always get clowned that I didn't go to training camp, but I always tell people I was in the league for 13 years, so I did go through training camp. But for me personally, I think it's for everybody to get together. But it's hot. You're in a closed space. You're getting to know guys and stuff like that. But from a standpoint, you had everything you needed there, but just the fact that you didn't have all of the amenities that you're used to as a professional guy, and you got to make those things work. But you're only there to train and get ready for the season.
All right, during camp, you stayed in the Eastern Washington dorms. Did you have air conditioning? Did you have your own room? What was the setup for veterans compared to the rookies?
Rookie year, your room. My first year, I don't know if y'all remember the receiver we had here. We were both from the same school, Andre Cooper. He was my rookie my first year. And then after your first year, for me personally, once you become a starter, the next year you come in, you get your own room. So it was pretty cool. Once you get your own room, now you can start bringing like all your entertainment stuff, like your TVs and your music and stuff like that. But it's pretty tough your rookie year because you're doing a lot of stuff. Like all you want to do is have a bed so you can go to sleep, and you hopefully that you have a roommate that will wake you up. But see, I had a receiver because they go to practice at a different time. They don't need a lot of time to get ready. So I had to figure out my own time because, receivers can run down in 10 minutes and get ready and be out at practice. As a lineman, you need a little more time. We have to process getting ready for practice. So that was probably the hardest part about having training camp rooming with a rookie that's a receiver, that they get ready way different than an offensive lineman.
Hey, I got to ask, I remember talking to Matt Hasselbeck, I think in Seneca Wallace, about on their way over to camp, they would stop at Ellensburg at Campus U Totem Burgers. Did you ever make that stop for a burger with the rest of the guys?
I wouldn't be a lineman if I didn't stop there and get a burger, man. So I think it's one of you had to wait for the way back, because most linemen know we going there for weigh-in, so we had to wait until we trap is over with. So now you can stop there, you can get your triple cheeseburger and all that stuff. But going to camp, you're sitting there sweating, hoping that you're gonna make weight. So you can't do no eating like that until after weigh-ins.
That's awesome. Hey, how much weight would you lose over there for the several weeks you're in Cheney? And you must have just gone in at some weight and came out at another.
Definitely. Like for me personally, my plan weight was like 325, so I had to come in at 329. But by the time you started camp, you go through that first 2 weeks of camp, you're losing 10 to 15 pounds. A lot of that is water weight, so you're going to gain that weight back. But still, again, you're going to lose that weight because you're practicing 2 a days and you're not eating that much, because all you want to do, I think you guys have known guys when they come off that field, they want to get home, they want to get into bed and try to get as much sleep as they can. So a lot of times you're not eating as well as you wanted to. You just want to get food in you and try to get as much rest time before the next practice.
All right, well, let's talk about the current Seahawks right now. Mike Macdonald came up with the slogan, "Run it forward." He wants his players to kind of think of the season as a new season and a new challenge to win the Super Bowl, not taking the stance of defending the title. Is the mental challenge of winning again almost as daunting as the physical challenge?
I think so too. I think that the crazy thing about it now this year, I think want nobody to be shocked about what the Seahawks are doing. I think everybody understand the way that Donald's plays the game and what he have done here in the last 2 years. 14 plus wins for the last 2 years. So I think now that teams got Donald's on film and kind of understand how he want to play the game. It's just a matter of how you're going to adjust to that. But still, again, you got that pressure. Everybody's going to be out there. You're the guys going to set the standard. So everybody want to come in and say, we want to beat the defending champ. But then the cool thing about this team is very young, very hungry. And still, again, we always feel like we don't get the respect. And for me personally, I think the Seahawks have gained that respect. But, this is the league and fans and all that stuff. So you're always going to feel like that. So if these guys continue to keep that chip on their shoulder, they should have a successful season.
Yeah. Hey, Walt, Mike Macdonald, he likes to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to coaching. He knows teams will try to copy or figure out what the Seahawks do on defense. You played 12 seasons in the NFL. Each year, did you spend some time studying what made other teams successful?
Not most. I think I always take a page out of Coach Pete Carroll. I remember when Russell had a great season. Then I think Pete had got on the stage and said like, "Hey, Russell have to figure out how teams going to try to play you." So I just try to figure out, where we was good at and how those teams going to try to stop us. I think if you take that approach, I think you'll be very successful because, you can't, if you constantly keep trying to watch somebody else, but, I just try to figure out, okay, what are they going to try to do to disrupt this play that we're so good at and stuff like that on pass rush, or what's my second and third move? What's his second and third move? So for me, I think it's all about just trying to get better as a person, as a team, so you understand what guys are trying to do to you, and you can kind of oppose to those things and try to do it better.
I think it's interesting the Seahawks currently have the 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl. The Rams are the favorites right now. We know they loaded up in the offseason. What do you think of their aggressive all-in approach this season? Because it worked pretty well when they won the Super Bowl during the 2021 season.
I think it's one of those things where you're in this division where you're seeing these teams. You got the 49ers, they're sitting there too. So I think it's one of those things where they're looking at the kind of offense that the Seahawks run, where everything is quick passes and trying to get the ball out of the quarterback hand. So I totally understand what the Rams are trying to do. They're trying to put everything on paper and try to go out there and get this win. And I understand that, the Seahawks is the team to beat. And no matter what you project and what you think is going to happen, you still got to go play these games. And I think the Seahawks are ready for that, and I think the Rams are too. But it's just they have to prove it. We didn't prove that we didn't got the Super Bowl win, so it's now about can the Rams put all these guys on one field, and hopefully they can get it done. But I think every team in this division, I think everybody in the NFC is ready for the challenge to see what the Rams got to offer. Because I think if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
I love it. And I'm going to tell you both. I've heard speculation. There are Rams management that watch this show daily, and they're tired of seeing all that parade video every day that we would continue to run. But
we're popular, Chris.
I'm sorry, Rams. We won. We got a parade. That's what we do. Walt, when the Rams traded for Myles Garrett, there was some talk of fellow defensive lineman Aaron Donald coming out of retirement, and the speculation continues. He's 35 years old. He's been out of the game for 2 years. You retired at 34. How tough would it have been to return to the game after a 2-year hiatus? I know you've been dealing with a knee injury. If you were completely healthy, would you have contemplated a comeback knowing the Seahawks were a Super Bowl contender?
Definitely. I think for me personally, I think that's the one thing that, you talk to a lot of guys and you say, Wes, is the one thing that deter you from continuing to keep playing. It's always injury, There's only a few players that then played this game and walked away from this game without any major injury, felt good, can do it, go off into the sunset. So I think it'll be very hard because I think the harder decision is making a decision to retire. And then now because, a lot of time I think you hear guys say, it's not about the actual game you play on Sunday. It's all about the preparation to get ready for that game on Sunday. And that's what all the guys talk about is just the preparation. But then Sam Donald, I think everybody watch him on social. He's still consistently working out, like he's still training, like he still can play the game at a very high level. But still, again, a lot of guys is all about the preparation and getting yourself ready to play a full NFL season. So I think it'll be very difficult once you take 2 years off where you haven't been, especially in the trenches where you got 300-some pound guys pushing on you. That's something that you really have to think about if you want to go back.
All right, look, you talk about Aaron Donald keeping himself in shape, and we know that he loves being in the gym. We'd be remiss if we didn't comment on the fact that you don't look like Big Walt anymore.
No.
You look like Medium Walt or Schmedium Walt.
Schmedium Walt.
What's going on, man? You got a new diet, a new fitness routine?
Just trying to be healthy, man. I think it's you be around a lot of guys. Like I say, if you look at my guys from the 05 team, the offensive line, all those guys have got chiseled. And I think a lot of times you get around those guys and you don't want to be the big guy in that group. Still, again, I'm Big Water. I understand that, but still, again, I just try to be healthy, man. I'm building a home here in Florida, so the weather is different from here than it is in Seattle. So just trying to stay healthy, man. Just trying to do right and feel good. So I think I want to enjoy life here for a little bit. So just trying to stay healthy and choosing when to eat good and when to eat bad.
Yeah.
Basically, that's all I'd say.
Looks like you're eating really good.
Absolutely.
Looks like he's traded in the Doritos and ice cream for chia seeds. I mean, come on, wow.
Oh, that's still good though. That's like I said, you have to make those decisions. When you eat good or eat bad. I have more bad days than I have good days. So.
Hey, Walt, I will say this: I did take a Dorito one night and dip it into a little ice cream. It was good.
It was good, huh?
I told you.